Welcome to the Kelly Healing Project, where we have real conversations about healing, growth, and stepping into your power. I'm Kelly, and I'm so glad you are here. Today, I want to talk about something that I think so many of us struggle with, especially when we're trying to heal. We spend so much of our lives looking outside of ourselves for answers. We ask everyone else what they think. We watch another YouTube video. We listen to another podcast. We read another book. We search for one more sign, one more opinion, one more person to tell us what we should do. And while learning from others is incredibly valuable, there comes a point where all that information starts drowning out that one voice that we need to hear the most, our own. So why we look outside of ourselves? I don't think most people do this because they're weak. I think they do it because somewhere along the way, they stopped trusting themselves. Maybe you grew up being told your feelings were wrong. Maybe your decisions were constantly criticized. Maybe someone always knew what was best for you. Over time, you began believing that someone else has the answers and you don't. So every decision becomes a search for reassurance. But knowledge isn't the same as wisdom. I love learning. I read books. I listen to podcasts. I've learned so much from incredible teachers. But one of the biggest lessons I've learned to this is information can guide you. It cannot live your life for you. There comes a moment when you have to stop collecting information and start listening to yourself. Because no one else lives in your body. No one else knows your experience. No one else can feel what you feel. I've noticed this in my own life. There were seasons where I thought that I could just find the right teacher, find the right book, find the right podcast, then suddenly everything would become clear. But healing didn't happen because I found the perfect answer. Healing happened because I started trusting the wisdom I had been ignoring. I began asking myself, what feels true for me? What brings me peace? What aligns with the person that I'm becoming? Those questions changed everything. So reconnecting with yourself. Sometimes we think intuition is loud, but in my experience, it's usually quiet. Fear tends to shout. It creates urgency. It demands certainty. Your inner wisdom often feels calmer, gentler. It doesn't force, it invites. Learning to recognize that difference takes practice. So you already know more than you think. I think many of us underestimate ourselves. We're waiting for someone else to give us permission to change careers, permission to leave a relationship, permission to set a boundary, permission to rest, permission to believe in ourselves. But maybe the permission you've been waiting is already inside of you. So support is still important. So this doesn't mean that you shouldn't seek support, therapists, coaches, mentors, friends, books, podcasts. They can all help us see things we couldn't see on our own. But their role isn't to basically replace your inner voice. Their role is to help you hear it more clearly. The healthiest guidance doesn't create dependency. It builds self-trust. So here's a practice to try. So the next time you're faced with a decision, before asking someone else, pause, take one deep breath, ask yourself, if I already trusted myself, what would I choose? Don't worry if the answer isn't immediately clear. The more often that you ask that question, the stronger your self-trust becomes. And for me, this ability to trust myself has happened over time, but there was a time I did not trust myself. My goodness, I would just, what's your opinion? What do you think I should do? God, I couldn't come up with my own, just what does Kelly want to do? I wasn't even sure because it's so many years of being invalidated, of just even when you expressed your feelings, they were constantly shot down. Oh no, you're not supposed to feel that way. You were told how to feel. which is not right when you're extremely young and you're just, you're new to this world and you're just learning, things. But that's not the case, and nobody should invalidate your feelings. And nobody has power over you unless you give them power. And just remember too also that trying to control something, control is abuse at the end of the day. If you're trying to control something, it's abusive. You shouldn't try to control people, control outcomes. Just let things happen. But over time, I have learned to trust myself more and more. But if you were to ask me 10 years ago, oh my God, I did not trust myself. I was living in fight or flight all the time. Nightmares, I felt like my life was just crumbling. And I've always kind of been a happy person, but that trauma can make you feel so disconnected from yourself, especially when, you're not really able to know yourself. You serve that one person when you're growing up, and then, God, it's like, when I got older, it's like the abuse just got worse because they know they're losing control and they will try to latch on and try to, it's like any tactic that they can do, they will try. And they manipulate so bad, and they will make you second guess yourself. And it's not okay. But you can learn to trust yourself again, to be present, and just be in your own body, really. And if you ask too many people's opinions, it can cloud things, and then you're just so confused. So just start somewhere. Start doing something, and worst comes to worst, even with this business, just start somewhere. And worst comes to worst, you just adjust. You adjust and you learn and you get better, and maybe I need to do this. Yes. But all the answers that you need are within, but you have become so disconnected from yourself that you don't even know how to get those answers because you've lived under a narcissistic person's shadow. And so you've forgotten yourself. But healing isn't about finding someone else who has all the answers. It's about remembering that you already carry more wisdom than you realize. You don't have to stop learning. You don't have to stop asking for help. But don't forget to include yourself in the conversation, because the person you're becoming isn't waiting for someone else to tell you who you are. They're waiting for you to trust yourself enough to listen. So thank you so much for listening to the Kelly Healing Project. Remember, healing is not about becoming someone new. It's about reconnecting with who you truly are. Healing the past, empowering your future. If you'd like to connect further, you can visit me at thekellyhealingproject.com. I'll see you next time.